We know the equitable remedy of specific performance can sometimes be used to compel a party to perform its contractual obligations if monetary damages are somehow inadequate. Because of the uniqueness of each parcel of land, this remedy is frequently sought in real estate matters, as in the 1976 case of Ferguson versus Caspar. Ida Caspar owned a home in Washington, D.C. In October of 1972, she received notice of many municipal violations from the housing inspector. The notice gave her 2 months to cure the deficiencies. In November, she contracted to sell the home for $23,000 cash to Harry Ferguson. The closing was set to take place by February 1st of the following year at the title company. The contract provided that Caspar would convey the house free of municipal violation notices. In January, Ferguson learned about the violations and obtained an estimate to cure them for $6,125. He said nothing to Caspar and proceeded to the closing, at which point none of the violations had been remedied. Both parties proceeded to sign their respective settlement statements and associated forms at the closing. Caspar furnished the deed transferring title, which was to be held until Ferguson tendered a check for the purchase price to the settlement officer, which he did. However, before the transaction was finalized, Ferguson provided the officer and Caspar with letters stating his instructions that the title company hold the $6,125 in escrow until Caspar cured the violations. The settlement officer said he couldn't proceed with the closing under such a condition, as the contract didn't provide for withholding any funds in escrow. Though there was some attempt at resolution, the parties ultimately left without completing the transaction. Ferguson's check was returned to him with a note that the deed couldn't be recorded. He sent it back with instructions to record the deed. Caspar's deed was returned to her, and she later sold the home to another purchaser. A few days later, Ferguson sued Caspar, seeking specific performance of the contract. The trial court dismissed his complaint, finding that Ferguson wasn't entitled to specific performance because he didn't tender full performance of his contractual obligations. Ferguson appealed to the D.C. Appellate Court.